Hello everyone. Welcome in. Happy Friday. It is Friday today. Happy Friday, everybody. Hello A. Hello Crystal. How you doing? How's everybody today? Hopefully you guys are ready for a great weekend. Hopefully the weather is good where you're at, or you are busy in salon or having a great schedule this weekend. But whatever you got coming up this weekend, I'm really excited that you are joining us here today for our live stream. We've got some fun things that I'm going to be working with today. And I'm going to give you guys the spoiler alert right off the bat here. Some of the products that I'm going to be using today are from the Gel Mystery Box. Still on sale, still available. You guys, I think at some point it will sell out. So if you're liking the products that you're seeing in the demo today, make sure you jump over to the Young Nails website, youngnails.com, and grab the mystery box, grab some other goodies. Everything is on sale right now for at least 30% off. Mystery boxes are way more than 30% off, so great sales going on. Let's see, let me go ahead and show you guys all of the different products that I'm going to be using. I think I've got everything that I was going to use today. So we are going to be using, and once again, spoiler alert, so some of these products are from the mystery box. But we're going to be working with our Synergy Gel system today. So we've got our base, we've got our clear sculptor in the precision applicator tube. We also have our Build Pink in the precision applicator tube. So these are kind of some of my standard products that I tend to use a lot when I'm doing gel nails, especially with dimensional kind of nails like we're going to be doing today. And then I've also got, we're going to be working with our Flex Gel because I'm going to be mixing some of our kind of chunkier Mylar into our gel. Let me come in a little closer so you can see that. So the Flex Gel, and you guys, this is the older packaging. Don't worry, the new packaging comes looking like this with the new label. I just still have some of our old version left. And the glitter that I'm going to be using today is more of kind of that chunky Mylar. I actually think this is what I've got in my nails here, you guys. So those of you that have been asking about my nails, I think this is what I put into them. And this one is called Other Side. So this one is super pretty, super colorful. Really kind of depends on what color you mix with it to kind of reflect all of those different kind of colors. So we've got that one. And we've also got, what else do we have here today? I think I showed everything there. Oh, yep. So we've got two of our new cream clays. The cream clays are, again, in the mystery box. We've got, let's see, we've got Radiant Orchid. You guys, this is absolutely gorgeous here. Radiant Orchid is kind of that fuchsia-y purple. I know it looks more kind of brownish in the pot, but once we get using it, you can kind of see in the cap, it's a little bit more purple, kind of fuchsia purple. So we're going to be using that one. I think I'm going to use that one, but I'm going to give you guys a choice at the end. So I think this is what I'm going to use, but you guys may give me some guidance and tell me if you want this one, which is Radiant Orchid, or if you want Gilded Glow, which is that beautiful, beautiful chrome gold shimmer sparkle, just beautiful. So when we get to the end, I'm going to let you guys decide. So you got to stick with me through the whole design so you can help with our choices today. And then we've also got, now you guys, I know past couple of days we've been giving a lot of love to our black opal gel, which is this one. And I know you guys have been absolutely loving it. I'm getting low on mine. I just have the smaller size of it, kind of as a sample that I got. But you guys will be getting the larger size, I believe, in the mystery box. But you guys, we've been giving a lot of love to the black opal, but we also have pink opal. And if you haven't seen this one, again, spoiler alert, too late, you guys. I know it's too late. But the pink opal is that same kind of pearl, what was I going to say? The gold kind of pearl, but with that really pretty soft pink, almost kind of a baby pink. So we're going to be using that today. So lots of love to our new pearl, our opal gels. I think that's what we're calling them. What's the blue or blue? Not blue. Pink opal, black opal. We also have white opal. I'll just show you guys that just to make sure you can make your decisions. So again, the white opal also has that kind of gold shimmer right kind of mixed through that. So super pretty colors in there. Absolutely love these. And we're going to be working with the, I just have my little label on there because again, you guys, these were sample sizes that I have. You will get the larger sizes in the mystery box. So don't worry about that. All right. I think those are the products that we are going to be using today. Let me set some other things off to the side here so we can make some space to work in. And let's get started. So we've got our nails going here. Somebody's asking, when are you going to do acrylic? You guys, I do kind of try to change up the live streams day by day. And I think I've done a couple of acrylics earlier in this week. Just kind of depends on the day, kind of depends on what mood I'm in, and what colors I'm feeling. So we'll change it up next week. Don't worry, we'll get some acrylics in here. And you guys, you can always jump into our TikTok lives. A lot of times Greg is the one that does the TikTok lives, and he tends to do a little more acrylic. I tend to work a little bit more with gel. So make sure that you've got you got our settings set so that you can get the notifications for both YouTube and TikTok and Twitch and all of our great live streams. You guys make sure to subscribe to all of our channels. That way you do get those notifications. So join us in all of our crazy online shenanigans here, and let's get started on our nail. So we're going to always start with prepping. We're always going to push back that cuticle, get that cuticle nice and cleaned up. Don't spend a ton of time trying to really perfect everything with your cuticle. All you're trying to do is just push back that cuticle a little bit. Kind of expose a little bit more of that kind of dry skin that may be stuck onto the nail. And we're going to go in with our medium sanding band. I'm going to put that down just a little farther. And you guys always make sure that you do change out your sanding bands. I'm going to grab a new one here. Change out your sanding bands so that you're using a new one for every client. The sanding bands themselves are not sanitizable and disinfectable. The mandrel that it does sit on, that is sanitizable and disinfectable. So you do want to sanitize and disinfect that in between. Throw out that old sanding band, get a brand new one. They aren't really washable. They kind of break down if you get them wet. But the other thing is that they do start to lose their grit after, you know, you're filing on nails and stuff. So it's always best to have a brand new one, fresh one, so that it's got that good grit to it. So we're just going to slide that one right on there all the way down. Now you guys, our sanding bands do come pre-beveled. I don't know if you can even kind of see that just a little bit. Let me come in a little closer here. They come kind of pre-beveled. So like when we have our brand new hand files, we always want to take the sharp edges of those off. You may or may not need to take off the sharp edges of your sanding bands. If I turn that up, it is pre-beveled, so if you're using just very light, gentle pressure, you're not going to have to worry about cutting the client. But if you are concerned about that, or if it feels like maybe it's just a little on the sharp side, you can take that bit, take your hand file, and you can just tap the edge of that bit. So I'm going to turn this on the side, you guys can see. Just tap it 1, 2, 3, just kind of right up into that corner there. That's going to take off that, if there is a sharp edge. That way, again, it's going to be nice and smooth. It's not going to hurt or anything on the client's cuticles. It really isn't, because like I said, they do come pre-beveled, but just in case. So I've got my E-file turned to about 5,000 RPMs. I'm going to come up around that cuticle area, just gently kind of making contact and then pulling my bit in kind of a circular motion. So it's actually more of maybe like a C. So we're kind of drawing a C. So kind of that half a circle, or a C, right up around that cuticle area. And then once I've got that cuticle area cleaned up, I'm going to be kind of at a diagonal to that nail. So if we look at it straight on, as I come around that cuticle, my bit is positioned right about here. So that's the angle that I'm going to stay. I'm not going to try to work all the way across the nail like this. I'm kind of looking at the nail at the side, kind of a side view, keeping that bit going from the top left corner, angled down to the bottom, did I say that right? The top left corner down to the bottom right corner, and just feathering that bit, working in one direction. So you guys, I'm going to slow down my motion here. So what I'm doing is I'm coming across the nail and pick up the bit, come across the nail, pick up the bit, come across, pick up, across, pick up, across, pick up. I'm not just staying on that nail and kind of grinding away. if I do that, what's going to happen is that's going to cause a little bit of extra heat on the nail, and it's also going to take down more of the nail than I need to. So again, it's just kind of that light feathering motion, just kind of tapping just little different areas of that nail to remove shine. Now, if I have a little bit more on the side, maybe right down here on the side, that still looks a little bit shiny, I'm just going to turn my bit, and I'm going to use the top part of my bit and just kind of tap right down that edge, okay? On the other side, if I have a little bit of kind of shine still showing, I'm going to use the base of my bit, and again, just kind of tap down that edge. So that's going to get right down into those edges if you need to, okay? That's all we're really going to do to remove the shine from that natural nail. We don't have to do a lot of work. We actually don't want to do a lot of work because, again, the more you file over that natural nail, the more you could potentially cause damage or remove too much of that surface of the nail, okay? So we are going to just dust off that nail kind of in the direction that the nail grows. So we're not going to be brushing across. Brushing across is just going to push product or push those little bits of dust down into those sidewalls. By dusting downward, that's going to really pull out any dust from that whole nail all the way down through those sidewalls and down into the free edge. So, really quick question somebody asked in the chat is, Karen, what color do you have on your nails? On my thumbnail here, you guys, this is the concealer blush. So it's just that really pretty soft pink, but it does have a little bit of sparkle to it already. So you don't have to mix anything into this. It's already there for you. And I'm thinking that this one may be on a blowout deal. Don't quote me on that, but I think the concealer blush gel may be on a blowout deal, you guys. So if you're liking that color, check that out on the website. All right, let me come back out here. So now that we've got our nail prepped, we're going to go into our swipe, and I'm going to pump a little bit of that onto my manicure brush, and we're just going to come through and we're going to scrub that nail really well, get all of the dust off there, any last little remaining dust particles, remove those, clean that nail really well. And the swipe is also going to help to remove any excess surface oils. Now, the reason that we filed over the surface is to kind of break up those surface oils. And then the swipe here is really just going to help to kind of pull those off of the nail and dry out that surface so that we've got a nice, clean, dry, germ-free, bacteria-free, dust-free, any kind of contaminant-free surface to our nail. So now we can apply our protein bond and get our nail to stick really well. So protein bond is our bonder, just like it says, and how it works is that it's going to stick to the natural nail, but then it's going to leave a tacky surface for our acrylic or gel or whatever product that we're using for that to stick to. So I do 2 coats of my protein bond if I'm working with enhancements, either acrylics or hard gels. I tend to do 1 coat when I'm working with just a gel manicure or soft gel or like a structured gel manicure or something like that, okay? So when I'm applying, I kind of start from the center of the nail and I work out to the sides and then I work back to the cuticle. And for me, what that does is it helps me to keep from flooding that product onto the cuticle, onto that skin. It keeps the majority kind of right in the center. So again, it doesn't come in contact with skin, okay? You want to make sure, even though you guys can see on the label, it says non-acid adhesion. So even though it doesn't have any of those acids, like methacrylic acid that a lot of traditional primers have, it still is a chemical and we still want to keep that away from skin just for the safety of our clients, okay? Next thing we are going to do, we are going to grab our forms, and I'm going to grab a couple here. We're going to take a form, peel that off the paper backing, take that little center tab off. Don't leave that on the paper. You're going to need that. So what we're going to do, we're going to take that little tab out of the center and you're going to stick that onto the back of your form here. That's going to give your form a little bit more durability, a little bit more firmness when you kind of roll that together. So this way when we pinch our form, it's actually going to keep a little bit more of kind of that rounded shape rather than, let me show you really quick. If we were to take a form without that on the back, and we try to roll that, it kind of creases a little bit more in the center. So you don't get that kind of that rounded shape, okay? So again, we're gonna take our form with the little tab on the back, pinch those 2 silver tabs. So these 2 little silver tabs are kind of your guide. So you're going to pinch these 2 little tabs together as evenly as you can get them. And you want to make sure that you're not pinching them lopsided, okay? So when you pinch that form, they should be nice and even together, and you should be able to pinch that form at the end and have that bold line. Let me come in a little closer. But have that bold line right down the center of where we pinch the forms, okay? Precious Matthews says, I know you like forms, Karen. Will you do a live with nail tips? You guys, a couple of things about working with tips. First of all, I do prefer forms. You got that correct on there. You guys, when you're working with forms, to me, one of the main reasons that I like to work with forms is because I can get this form to fit any client. Okay, whether they have a wide nail, whether they have a square nail, a short nail biter nail, I can get a form to fit on everyone. And you know what? Let me show you how you can customize your forms. But let me get this on here really quick. But when you're working with a tip I always say is kind of a one size fits most. It's not going to fit every single client. With a form, I'm going to get this form right up underneath the nail, lift up, and it's going to sit right down flush underneath that nail, and it is going to fit everyone, okay? But again, trying to size a tip onto everyone, everybody has a slightly different C curve, so the curve of the nail, if you're looking down the barrel, everybody has a different C curve. Everybody has a different width to their nail. Everybody has a little bit of different style nails. So that's why I do prefer to work with forms, because I'm going to show you guys how to customize them so that they can fit onto everybody. There's only so much that you can do to customize a tip to get that to fit everyone. So again, that's why I do prefer to use the forms. But if we take a form, say we've got, what should we start with? Let's start with a client who maybe has an extended hyponychium. And you guys, I've been talking about the hyponychium lately. That's really basically the skin right underneath here that connects that natural nail, that hard nail surface, to our nail bed or that skin underneath here, okay? So there's a little thin skin. It's very delicate, so I'm not really poking in here. I'm just kind of showing you using my scissors to point. But there's that skin under there, and that really just basically seals that natural nail to the nail bed. If we have a hyponychium that grows out, it kind of attaches to that natural nail and it grows out. If you were to try to put one of these forms, let me show you here really quick. If we take that tab out, pinch our form together. Actually, I'm not going to pinch it. But if we were to take that form and we had our hyponychium growing out and we were to put that form flush up to that hyponychium, that actually could put pressure and kind of push and poke into that hyponychium. So what we want to do instead is customize our form. We're going to take our scissors, and you guys see that bold line right down the center again? I'm just going to cut a little bit of a V shape. So just kind of a little V, so 2 little notches right on either side. Take out that little center part. Now, this form will now fit right around that hyponychium. So when I put that form on, it's not going to poke into that skin. It's not going to be uncomfortable for my client. So make sure that you always check if they've got that hyponychium underneath there. You can customize that form to get that right around that hyponychium, okay? So I'm going to set that one right here so you guys can kind of see that as I work here. Another way you can customize your forms is, say you've got a nail biter. So you guys, let me clip a nail down here, show you what I really mean. And you guys, this is a trainer hand. There's only so much that I can do to really show you a nail biter on a trainer hand. But a lot of times those nail biters, they have kind of those wonky nails. They're all chewed up here, kind of bitten up. They don't really have a whole lot of great free edge to work under. So when you have a nail biter client, what you're going to do, you're going to take that form, take that little tab out of the center, and you're going to snip right across the top of that Y, or the Y end. So right across the top of the logo, just kind of use that as your guide. This little piece you can throw away. You don't need that piece there. But then you're going to take that form, and instead of just putting that right on the back down here, you're going to take that form and just slightly overlap right in the center, okay? So now we've got a little bit more of an edge where we can put that. I'm still going to pinch my tabs together here. Okay. But now we can put that form right up to where that client's little bit of nail might be. Now, some clients may not have any nail that you can get that form underneath. So say that all of this was chewed down. They didn't have really any kind of nail there for you to put that form under. They've probably got kind of that puffy skin right here around the free edge, or where the free edge really should be. So what you can do with that is open up your form like I did, and then I will just take my form and I'll kind of put pressure onto that skin. So I'm almost pulling that skin down with the form. So again, putting pressure onto that skin, pressing that skin down, and then I can secure that form on the sides, and it's just basically gonna sit, whoops, hang on guys. My finger is a little bit dusty here, so that's why the form's not sticking on. But if you put that form right up to that free edge, you're still going to be able to sculpt out your product onto there, okay? Now here, you guys, nail biters are actually one of the really big reasons that I like to sculpt. I know a lot of times people think that putting a tip on a nail biter is easier, but if you have this really tiny little bitten nail and you take even a quarter well tip, you put a quarter well tip on, that quarter well is going to cover probably about half of their natural nail. And it's only going to leave about this much space, or half of that nail, where you're going to have product adhered. Okay, you guys, I'm going to be honest. After a while, the glue that holds tips on can start to break down. If you have more of that nail covered with acrylic or hard gel, you're going to have a much better bond for a much longer time. So that's why if I were to put a tip on, half of that nail is going to be covered with glue. As that grows out, it's going to have a little bit more of a challenge adhering, okay, or staying adhered. So that's why I like to use the forms, because I can get that product right up to their natural nail, and I have that whole nail covered with product rather than just glue. Okay, so that's one of the big reasons that I actually started doing forms, was to work on those nail biters. And I will tell you, I've had nail biter clients who they've never had luck keeping nails on, but once I started sculpting them, they have been the most loyal clients. So if you can get your nail biter nails to hold on, I guarantee you they're probably going to be your most loyal clients. So, all right, so that is our nail biter form. So we had our extended hyponychium, we have our nail biter, we have, what if we have a client that's got a really straight square free edge or a really tight C curve? And what I mean by that is, say they've got, say they've got a nice long natural nail here, but their hyponychium or their free edge looks more square. Okay, it's a little bit more straight across. Their smile line isn't an actual smile. It doesn't come up onto the corners. Maybe their smile line, that natural smile line, comes more straight across. If you try to take a round form, or a form with a round opening like this, and try to put that up underneath a square nail, let me pinch that really quick. What's going to happen is you're going to have a gap. So right in here, you're going to have that little bit of a gap. So what we want to do is take that form, take that tab out, just like we did with our bitten nail. We're going to cut straight across the form, but on this one, we're actually going to cut about halfway down. So give that a little bit more space. Okay, same thing. We don't need this piece. We're going to toss that away. We're going to take this and just overlap that a little bit more into our form. So this way, we can still pinch those tabs together, can still open that up at the top, but now we can get that form right up underneath that square nail without having that gap in between. Okay? So kind of that little tab is just going to kind of fill in that space, and it's not going to interfere with their square hyponychium underneath. Okay? All right, you guys. So those are 3 ways of customizing your forms. Now, you guys, I am going to show you one way, or for one reason, that I would say sculpting, the skill of sculpting, is an absolutely necessary skill to have. If you're a nail tech, working in salon, or even if you do your own nails, and if you have an extra wide nail, this is the technique that you're going to need to use. You're going to need 2 different forms, okay? Now, I want you guys to see this. So, say I had a really, really wide either thumbnail, or even if you're working on toenails, if you're sculpting a toenail, there are some nails that are going to be wider than what this form is. So their nail is actually wider than what is going to fit right through here. Okay, so again, if you have that extra wide nail, you're going to take 2 forms. Okay, leave them on the paper for now, or actually we're going to tear them apart there. So leave them on the form to start with, but you're going to take your first form. You're going to look at that form. We've got that bold line right down the center. So you see that bold line right there? You're going to count 3 lines to the left. So, or sorry, 3 lines to the right. 1, 2, 3. And you're going to cut straight back on that 3rd line. So all the way back. And you guys don't worry if it's a little bit uneven. You don't have to measure. You don't have to make sure it's perfect, but just cut as straight back as you can. Okay, we're going to set that form off to the side. We're going to take our second form. We're going to do the same thing, but to the left side. So 1, 2, 3 lines to the left. 1, 2, 3, approximately 3. Okay, same thing, cut straight back. So those little pieces that you cut off, those can go in the trash. You don't need those. Now we're going to take both of those forms. We're going to take the right side or the left side, whichever one you want. Peel the form off. You can leave the tab on the paper for now. You're going to take those 2 forms. You're going to line this edge up that you cut. You're going to set that right down onto that bold line on the second form. So set that right down on there. Again, as close together as you can, as even as you can. Adhere that down to the top. Now we're going to peel that off of our form, or off of the paper. Still leave that little tab on the paper there. Now we're going to turn that over. We're going to take both of those tabs. We're going to stick those on the back of the form. And what this is going to do is, first of all, going to give us that extra kind of durability to our form, but it's also going to seal those 2 pieces together. So the 2 pieces aren't going to peel apart. And then we'll turn that over. You can peel away that center part there. And one last thing, we got these 2 little devil horns in here. I don't know why I call them that, but I do. We're going to snip those off. Now we have an extra wide form. So instead of this smaller form, we now have that extra wide form that is going to fit on that extra wide thumbnail, toenail, or anything in between. Okay, so you guys, I'm going to tell you, this is 100% the reason that you need to know how to sculpt nails, especially if you're working in salon, because not every client is going to have a nail that fits with a tip. Okay, so if you're somebody who uses tips in salon, you probably have noticed that you've had a couple of clients that maybe have a really wide thumbnail and you can't get that tip on and fit it all the way down to those sidewalls. It may end up a little bit short on the sides. So using these extra wide customized forms is going to really help to get you to be able to do a nail on any client. So any nail, any shape, any size, any style. With all of these different ways of customizing forms, you guys are going to be able to do those nails. So I hope that helped. You guys, if that helped, if you learned something new on that, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe to our channel so we can keep offering you guys all of this free education. So let's move on to our next step in the process. So we've already got our nail prepped. We've already got our form on there. We're ready to go here. We're going to start with, I'm going to grab my clear Sculptor. So clear Sculptor in the precision tube is one of our thicker gels, and I usually like to use this one when I'm building out my extensions because I feel like this, it doesn't move and run a whole lot. I'm also going to grab this is my little ceramic tile, and you guys, I always like to show this. It's just a cheapy little ceramic tile you can get at the hardware store. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy, but I always like to have that just to make sure I've got somewhere to wipe my brush off. And you guys, I've got, spoiler alert, oh my gosh, Abigail, thank you so much appreciated for the love. Thank you, thank you. But you guys, I've got my cute little crown brush holder here. So if you guys haven't seen that, it's in, spoiler alert, it's in the mystery box. But it's a great little tool, especially for working with your gels. I always tend to take my gel brush, and when I'm done with that, I tend to just kind of set it on my table, and then I get gel everywhere. Or a lot of times if I end up turning my brush around like this, and having it sitting this way, I end up sticking my arm onto my gel brush. So you guys, it's a great little, fun little tool. It looks cute on your station, but it really is very practical. So just a little added bonus here today. All right, so I've got my ceramic tile. I use that to keep my brush clean, wipe out any gel from my brush. And we've got our, what do we got? Our clear sculptor. I had to stop and think for a second. Let me come in here a little bit. So when I build out my extension, I've got a little bit of that gel already coming out of the tube. I'm just going to squeeze a little bit of that clear sculptor right on the tube, my form, right in front of that natural nail. And then I'm going to stop squeezing. I'm going to use the nozzle of my brush to just kind of guide that product over to the side. So over and around that natural nail, getting that product contacted to that whole free edge. And then just start again using the nozzle, just kind of pulling that product. You see how it gets that little kind of a tail or a little string of product? I'm just going to use that string and just kind of start feathering that down the length of the nail. Now, if I need more product, I'll come back to the center and I'll squeeze a little bit more out, but I'm not really trying to create any thickness at this point. I'm just trying to basically build a platform to put my color on or put my design on. So on this nail, I actually didn't squeeze any more product out. I think I had enough to create the length and shape that I wanted. Now, I'm going to grab my brush. Again, make sure it's nice and clean, no gel or anything in there. I'm going to use my brush now to kind of, first of all, make sure that I've got all that product nice and even on there. Clean that back out. And then I'm going to use the edge of my brush, turn that around, and I'm going to pull the product back. So just kind of straightening out that lower arch, wipe out my brush. Same thing on the other side. Kind of turn that finger, use the edge of my brush, almost kind of like an eraser. So you're just erasing any product that's down hanging low and just bringing that product right back up into the corner. You can kind of feather that product out if you need to. If you feel like you got a little bit of a ledge, go ahead and feather that out. And then we're going to get this free edge into our UV LED light. You guys, today I am using our blinged out light. On this side, on my light on this side, I actually have two lights. So I've got one on this side, and then I've got my other light on this side. The light that I have over here, I'm going to see if you guys can see this on the back. This one, I know there's a little wonky light reflection, but this one, oh, I guess I had that set to 15 seconds. I'm going to set that one to 30 seconds. So it's got that timer on it. I actually have my light plugged in right now, so you can see, maybe you can't see, let me come in a little closer. You can see that little battery indicator is kind of, it's lighting up all of the different lines on there. That's showing that I've got that plugged in. So it is charging while I'm using it. That's one of the great things about this new light is that it can be charging while you're working with it, or you can use it as a cordless light and you can use it wherever you want to use it. So that first layer just needed to be kind of frozen into place just for that 30 seconds. And then we're going to grab our base gel. Now our base gel is just what it says. It's the base. It's designed to be the base or the foundation of our nail. So base gel is very thin. Let me get you back. You guys, I moved my camera. Now I don't know where we're at here. There we go. Let me come in a little bit more. So again, our base gel is very thin. It's really designed to be the foundation of our nail. It has a slightly different chemistry than the rest of our building gels. It has more resins to it, so it's going to have the best bond to the natural nail. And you always want to start with this so that all of your other gels are going to adhere really well. And I always kind of use the analogy of building a house is when you build a house, you have to build up that foundation. You can't just put your build your house on a sandy, rocky, pebbly beach or something like that and think that it's not going to, or that it is going to stand up for a long time, okay? You have to build a proper foundation to secure that house. Same thing with our gels. With our base gel, I'm just brushing on a really thin layer to give a good foundation. And then I don't know if you guys noticed what I did. I took a little bit more of that base gel, just kind of drizzle that right through where that natural nail connects to that free edge. And what that's going to do is that's going to really make sure that my natural nail and my free edge are secured together. Okay, we're going to do another freeze into the light. Again, we're going to go in for 30 seconds. And that's going to go in for the 30 seconds. In the meantime, let me close up our base gel. Let's do some mixing. Because you guys, I know you guys love all the glitters and the sparkles just as much as I do. So today we are going to mix. Actually, let me grab my cap here so my gel doesn't run out of there. And we're going to grab this is our pink opal. And again, you guys, sorry, spoiler alert. I'm supposed to say that before I start showing you guys these things, but spoiler alert. This one is from the Gel Mystery Box. And you guys, this is that beautiful pink opal. It's got a little bit of a gold shimmer kind of pearl to it. So you're going to see that in the whole nail. It's an absolutely beautiful color combination here. So we've got that. And we've also got our glitter, or kind of our mylar today, which is other side. We're going to take a little bit, let me come back out here so you guys see what I'm doing. I'm going to take a little bit of that pink opal and scoop a little bit of that out. You guys, and you could build a whole nail just from this pink opal, but I'm going to mix a little bit of that mylar into it. Looks like I got a little bit of other glitter on my spatula here. I don't want that in there. Clean that off really quick. And then I'm going to grab a little bit of that mylar. Stacy says, I can't wait to start mixing pink opal and honey opal. Ooh, you guys, that's good. Stacy, I might use that as an inspiration for another demo here another day. So thank you for that. That's a good idea. I like that. So we're just going to take a little bit of that mylar. Let's come back in here so you can see a little closer. Maybe just a tad more. And we're going to mix that into our pink opal gel. And let's just come in here. Just start to kind of press that all together. It's going to feel a little bit chunky with that kind of mylar in there, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. I'm actually going to come in. I showed you guys the Flex gel earlier. I'm going to use just a little bit of the Flex. Now, Flex is one of our thinnest gels that we have. So what I'm going to use that for is just to kind of thin this out, and I'm going to make that pink opal just a little bit more sheer. Now you can keep it in that little bit more kind of solid color, but for this nail today, I think I just want to bring it just a little bit more sheer. So just a little bit of that Flex gel to kind of thin it out a little and to just give it a little bit more, sheerness. And you guys, you can see it's not going to be completely sheer, but I just wanted to kind of tone it down just a little bit, okay? Andrea says, I think Karen's going to ombre the pink and black opals. You guys, I haven't done that yet, but that's another great idea. I love working with, a team and you guys listening to your suggestions. I think that's really a great way to get inspiration, because somebody's going to mention something and say, yeah, or ombre the pink and the black. Maybe it's something that I haven't thought to do. So I love you guys that you kind of put those suggestions out there, because it does. It gives me ideas. It gives me inspiration. And I think that's so important in this industry to share information, just like we're doing here on our live streams, so that everybody can be successful. So yeah, keep those ideas coming. Keep those ideas coming. All right, so we've got our nail. Oh my gosh, you guys, I think I dinged the nail on the way into the light. So let me just show you how to fix that, because you guys, y'all know your clients are going to do that. I've even done it myself as I've put my own nails in there. But I'm just going to take my base gel, and we'll just grab just a tiny little bit of that on my brush. And I'm just going to kind of run that little bit of base gel right over that area. I think it was fine. I don't think there was like a hole in there or anything. But just to be on the safe side, I am going to just kind of touch that up a little bit. So we'll get that back into the light, another 30-second freeze, and then we'll move on. All right, so we had our base gel. That's what we used there. Now, I am going to clean out my brush, make sure I don't have any more of that base gel on there. Get that nice and clean. We'll give that just a couple more seconds. And you guys, maybe 10 to 20 seconds even to freeze this into place is fine. If it's not in there for the full 30, that's okay. That base layer was in there for that full 30. So I'm going to just pinch my form away. I want to make sure that my form is completely released before I try to pull that form down, because if it's still attached, there's a good chance that I may end up pulling that form off. Now, you guys, I'm going to show you just a really quick trick that I like to show with my gels. Now, my sidewalls are fairly straight. I don't have a whole lot of product hanging down, maybe a little bit more on this side. But what I like to do is to make my life easier when I do my filing and finishing, I'm going to clip off some of that product that's hanging down low. Now, I'm using a straight edge toenail clipper. You guys don't use the rounded edge toenail clippers. Those are going to probably lead to cracking of your product. So using a straight edge toenail clipper, you can come in and just do a couple of little clips to kind of remove anything that's hanging low. If you're trying to get all the way back up into that sidewall, you may try to use a nipper rather than that toenail clipper. It might be a little bit easier to get back up into that corner. Okay, so just kind of little clips just to help kind of even that out so that when you go to do your filing and finishing, it's going to be easier. So this side I think I had pretty good, pretty straight on there, so I don't need to cut anything on that side. All right, you guys, are you ready for this pink opal? I think this is going to be such a pretty nail. I'm super excited about this. I know you guys know that I love to do a lot of glitters and a lot of sparkles, but we're going to keep this, I don't want to say as a minimalist kind of a nail, but more of just a classy nail, a classy, classic kind of a nail. So I'm just kind of dropping that pearl down onto the nail, kind of using my brush in more of a circular motion, kind of pulling that. And you guys, you can kind of see that it does feel a little bit chunky with that mylar in there. So it's not going to be as smooth and flowing as your typical gels tend to be. The gel itself kind of gets caught and kind of gets stuck on the mylar. So you may have to do a little bit more work to kind of get this product even. And don't worry if it's not completely even. Again, you guys, we file at the end and we finish that nail up and smooth it all out. But you do have to use just a little more work with your brush when you kind of mix in that mylar with it. So again, just kind of guiding that product into place, kind of feathering that product down. I'll scoop up a little bit more here. Just kind of working that down the length of the nail all the way to the end. And do you see how those pieces of mylar just kind of make it opal kind of looking? I know the name of our gel here is Pink Opal, but I really think this little bit of extra mylar in there really does give it more of that opal kind of a look. All right, let me clean out my brush. I want to make sure that I've got enough of that pink gel all the way around my sidewalls, my cuticles. If you guys do get any product on the skin, just grab an orange wood stick right away. Make sure to clean that off so that it doesn't get cured onto the skin. You guys, we're always want to make sure that we're keeping our clients safe and healthy. Avoid getting product on the skin as much as possible, but occasionally it's going to happen. You may touch the client's skin. So just be very careful as you apply. Apply as carefully and safely as you can, but clean up anything that does accidentally touch, okay? I'm going to pop this into the light. We're going to freeze that into place again for 30 seconds. So again, that's going to go into the light just to kind of set that product into place. And at this point, you guys, there's two things that you could do. You could either build that nail out of just that, just the pink gel, so just that mix that we had there. You could definitely build up the whole entire structure of the nail with this gel. The pink opal gel is translucent enough to where it will fully cure all the way through. But I'm actually going to cap this with the Build Pink. And you guys, even with those pieces of mylar, if you did just build the whole nail with that mixture, it's totally fine. Any of those little pieces of mylar that are poking out, those would actually just file off and it would be totally fine. But I actually really like to encapsulate this color with the Build Pink, especially with those mylars in there, because I feel like it gives it a little bit more depth, a little bit more dimension to that nail. And just, I swear, I don't know what it is in the Build Pink, but just that little bit of a pink tint to it really magnifies that pearl. So you guys, I'm going to put the Build Pink on, and I want you guys to kind of watch and see how it really just magnifies everything underneath it. So you guys, you can kind of start to see that already. Even those little bits of mylar, it just magnifies the shine on that and just makes it look absolutely gorgeous. You guys, if you're new to our channel, if you're just joining us here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Join us for all this great free education. We do try to go live several times a week. This week, I think we ended up doing a little bit more than we normally do. So make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you can always join us when we do have our live streams. And I'm just going to take my brush just to kind of touch up around the edges, again, making sure that I've got enough product everywhere I need it. Make sure nothing's running down the length of the nail or down the sidewalls or anything. And then I'm just going to kind of draw a little bit of that back up. I'm going to pop this back into the light again, just for maybe even 10 to 20 seconds, just to kind of set that product into place. And then I'm actually going to check this nail for structure. And if I need to add any more product, I'll go ahead and add product. If I don't need to add more product, I'll do a full cure to cure this all the way through. Okay, so again, just a really quick kind of freeze into place. And let's check this now. So let's see from our side view. You guys, you kind of know, if you've been joining us for a while, when I do build up my nails, I do tend to, I get my product nice and thick and even here where I need it. And I always tend to have a little bit of a, kind of a little bit of a dip right down there. So I always tend to add just a little bit more product right down through that arch, just enough to build up that structure properly. Oh, it looked a little bit off to the side there. And I know some of you people are in the chat thinking, whoo, that looks like a big chunky monkey. And you guys, at this point it is, but I know that I've got my structure in there. I'm going to cure this fully in the light for 60 seconds. And then we are going to file it out. So there we go. So you guys notice on this time, I put it on, oops, hit that light. There we go. So I put my, my hand into the light on my left side of my table because this one is the one that I've got set for 60 seconds. So when we're curing the nail fully, we want to make sure that it's in there for a full 60 seconds. We only had the timer set for 30 seconds on this one. Now, you guys, if you're working in salon, let me show you. I know I kind of showed you the back of the lights here earlier, but whoops, I hit the timer on that. But it does have the timers on there, so you can set it at that 15 second, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, or 90 seconds. You guys, the great thing about the 90-second timer is that is a gradual cure. So on the 90-second timer, when you hit that, it starts out at a low power, and then the power gradually increases. So if you have clients that may be a little bit more susceptible to that heat that you feel with the gel, you can start them on that low timer, and then it'll go all the way through the cycle, but it'll cure fully in the 90 seconds. You also heard that little beep. I don't know if you can see, I think that's oh, there you go. You can see there's a little beep button. So that's how you would turn on and off that beep. So if you don't want to hear the beep, you can turn that off, or you can have it on just like you heard when this other one finished out here. So let me grab our nail back out of the light. Ooh, we are ultra close on that. Let me come back out here. There we go. All right, before I do my filing, I want to make sure that I close up all of my gels. Close up my brush, make sure I put that away. So this way I'm not going to, actually let me clean that out really quick. But by closing everything up, I'm going to make sure that nothing gets contaminated with dust or anything like that. So always make sure that you close up your products, cover up your brush, and make sure that everything stays nice and clean. All right, now that our nail is cured, it does have a tacky surface on it. So we're going to go back to the swipe. And swipe is what we were using to cleanse the nail first. Let's see. I think there was a question. Can you use it for the free edge when using a form? Let's see. I think you may be asking, can you use the gel on the free edge? Yes, you can definitely use. You can build the whole nail out of this pink opal gel. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. I am also going to grab my dust collector. And you guys, I just had this plugged in, so it was charging up. But same thing on this one. I'm going to turn that on. And if you want to, so right now I just turned the dial to turn it on. If you want to pause it, just push the button and it'll pause it. It's still on the 10 setting, but it's got that little pause button. But this one also, again, if I come in really close, you can see that this one also has that battery indicator, so you always know where your battery level is on that. Okay. So great options with these cordless. So again, you can see it's cordless. It's not plugged in right now, but you can plug it in and charge it up. You can still use it while it is plugged in. So whatever works for you is going to be just fine. All right, let's come in here. And again, we'll turn our dust collector on. And I do have it turned all the way up to 10. You can adjust that. You can turn it a little bit lower if you don't feel like you need as much suction. But we're going to switch my E-file bit to my X-Cut carbide. I'm going to turn the speed on my electric file to about 15,000 RPMs. And we're just going to start by straightening out our sidewalls. So we're just kind of clean up the sides, make sure everything's nice and straight. Just going to pull that bit straight down. And then on my right side, I'm going to push back. Just kind of letting that bit do the work for me. Now, you guys, I know a lot of you are saying, you're seeing that all that dust that's on my skin, why is that not going down into the dust collector? If you watch really close, you'll see a lot of that dust is actually getting pulled down into the dust collector. What is getting pulled down in there is the really fine dust, and the fine dust is what you really want to be cautious of. All of this other stuff that's kind of sitting on my skin and sitting on my hand like this, that's not what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about this stuff getting up into my breathing zone. It's all of that really fine dust particles that we want to be concerned with. So this dust collector is going to pull all of those tiny little particles down in there and away from your breathing zone. Okay? So what I'm doing here is just straightening out that lower arch. Same thing on the other side. And you guys, this was the reason why I went through and kind of clipped off those edges before we even put any more product on, so that I didn't have any, or not really a whole lot of filing to do at this point. So just a little bit, just a minimal amount of filing. And you guys, again, hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you join our channel here. Make sure you join our community. Get all of this great free education. If you're joining us in our live stream right now, we do post these back up on our channel so that you can rewatch them. If maybe you missed part of it or anything like that, you want to rewatch it, you can always go back and rewatch it. We have over 3,000 videos of free education for you guys. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel, get all of this great free education. So what I'm doing at this point, let's see, somebody's asking, does YN have an e-file? Yes, the e-file that I'm using right now, this is the file that we have available. I absolutely love this one. Let me zoom back out here. You can see it's got a great handpiece. It's nice and light in your hand, but it feels very balanced. It's a little bit kind of weighted in the back here, so it really just kind of balances right on your hand. It's got, let me show you here real quick. That's the base to it, so it's nice and easy. You can adjust the speeds just by turning that top circle there. You can use it in forward or reverse, so depending if you're left-handed or right-handed, it is a great, great e-file. I absolutely love this one. All right, let's get back to our nail here. So again, we're looking at this nail from the side, and I'm just kind of filing in the arch. So as I'm filing, you're noticing that I'm starting to get that really nice smooth contour of nice and thin and tapered at the cuticle, kind of coming up to an arch right in the center there, and then back down to nice and thin and tapered at the free edge. So that's going to give us our proper structure. Now as I'm working, I'm only working from the center down to the side. So if I look at it from this area here, I'm working from the center to the side. I'm not trying to come all the way from side to side, because if you are working from here, if your bit starts to come all the way over to the right side here, you can't see where that bit is going. So a lot of times what happens, let me turn this around. A lot of times what can happen is if you have your bit all the way over here, it can actually catch on that client's skin right down on the side. And if that happens, it is going to tend to wrap around that finger, okay? So we don't want to go all the way around the world like that. So again, just working from the side down, but then once we get our arch into place, then we can look down the barrel of the nail, and then we can thin out those sides from this view. Now we're just kind of working on the sides. I'm not working up into that area that I've already cleaned up. This point, just kind of thinning out those sides, kind of bringing those up and even with that arch that we created. Once you get those sides a little bit more even and kind of contoured in, you see how now that nail looks a little bit more rounded all the way through the surface. Now we can go all the way through, up and over, really making sure that everything is contoured. And you guys, check out how I'm using my bit. When I work all the way through, on my right side here, I use more of the base of the bit, up into the middle part of the nail, the middle part of the bit, down onto the left side, the top of the bit. So that way you're going to get a nice smooth flow all the way through that nail to get that really good contour. Okay? Now I think we're looking pretty good here. I feel like maybe I need to take a little bit more off my right side here. So I'm just going to kind of clean up that shape just a little bit more right through here. I think it was looking a little bit lopsided, and I think we're a little bit better there. So I'm going to just come back through, taper in that side just a little bit more. And I know our lower arch looks a little bit wonky. It still all looks kind of wonky, but we're going to go back through with one more bit, and then we are going to hand file. So I'm going to switch back to my sanding band, and I like to use this one to just refine just a little bit more. Now with the sanding band, I'm going to turn my speed down to about 7,000 RPMs. So it doesn't need to be quite as fast as that carbide bit, but a little bit higher than what we would use for prepping. So I'm just going to go through all of those same motions. So I just came up around my cuticle, and this is really going to help to get that product nice and flush down to that natural nail. So all the way through that side, same thing, from the center over to the side. And you guys, I'm going to show you a little trick that I use. So as I work, let me show you how I have my hand position. I actually have my finger on the side of the nail like this, so that as I'm working from that side view, I use my own finger as kind of a barrier so that I know I'm never going too far over. See if I can get a good camera position on this. So as I work to the side, if I feel that bit bumping into my skin, I know that I'm far enough over, I'm not going to keep coming farther over here. So that's kind of my little trick that I use so that I can work really fast through this side here. And you can kind of see I keep using more pressure. And if I feel that bit coming to my neck or to my finger, I know that I'm going to stop coming over to the side. I hope that makes sense, but that's just my little trick that works for me. We're going to come back from that straight on down the barrel view, just customizing everything, tapering everything. I'm going to do as much as possible so that I don't have a whole lot of work to do with my hand file. Somebody's asking, do you have a store? You guys, everything that I'm using here today is from Young Nails, and we don't have like an actual storefront, but we do have everything online. So youngnails.com is where you can find all of the products that I'm using, the files, the e-file, all of the products, the gels. You guys, a lot of the products that I'm using today are in the gel mystery box. So if you're liking this pink opal gel, that's in the mystery box. We've got a couple other things that I'm going to be using today that are in the mystery box. So definitely check those out. We've got our huge Black Friday sale happening right now. So everything is at least 30% off. So definitely check that out. Now what I'm doing at this point is straightening out my lower arches. And I want to make sure that I'm keeping my file nice and straight with the finger. I'm not trying to file back up into this corner. I want to make sure that my file comes straight out. So this way, I'm not going to put a little notch up in the corner. Shells is asking, the opals are hard gels? Yes. The pink opal, white opal, and black opal are all hard gels. They are non-porous once they're cured, so they do have to be either filed off or just kind of let them grow off. But they can be filled and rebalanced, so they are a great enhancement product. I'm just coming underneath that nail, making sure that my lower arches are even. You can see that my left side here is a little bit lower hanging than my right side, so I want to make sure that those are nice and even out. Look a little bit higher here. All right, I think that's looking a little bit better. There we go. So you guys, if you can hold your file flush up underneath that nail and it be nice and flat, don't have one side hanging down or the other, you're going to know that that nail is nice and straight and even now. Okay. We're going to come back through our cuticle area, kind of thin and tapering our cuticle. I'm just going to come right down around that edge. Come back a little bit so you can see right down around that edge, making sure I'm kind of using a rounded motion, and that's going to ensure that I get a nice taper all the way through that side. And again, no ledges or anything to catch around those sides in the cuticle area. Okay, I'm going to come up and around that extension right down on that free edge, so I'm kind of rounding in these sides a little bit. Same thing on my right side, kind of rounding in that side a little bit. I'm going to turn that finger kind of from the side view, and I'm going to just put a little bit of pressure with my file right at the free edge point here, and just gently blending backwards so that I'm just kind of tapering out that free edge and keeping that nice arch. Okay, I think we're good there. So I'm going to check this hand or check this nail, and I'm going to turn my nails around and see them from my client's perspective. So let me come here a little bit. So I want to check and see, because my client is going to look at her nails from this view, so that's exactly what I want to see. I want to see what she's seeing when she looks at her nails. So I'm going to check her nails from this view, clean up my sides, make sure everything is nice and straight and even. Clean up that free edge, make sure if I want to have a point, I've got a point. If I want it a little more almond shape, I can kind of shorten it up or round it out a little bit. Now I'm going to look backwards down the barrel of the nail. And you guys, you can kind of see from this view, you're going to be able to see if you've got any last little lumps or bumps or uneven spots. But make sure as you're filing from this view that you do kind of rock that nail back and forth. Because if I just look from here, all I can see is of the nail is from here to about here. I can't see all the way down to the free edge. So if I lift up a little bit on the free edge, now I can see all the way through the rest of that extension. Okay, so as you're working, kind of check from all different angles. Make sure that you're seeing the nail from every way possible. Just kind of flowing my file right through. Now I think we are right on. And I think we're good to finish our nail. All right, let me turn my dust collector off here. Now I've got one more little thing to add into this nail, because I know you guys are wanting to see the top coat, Andrea. I saw your comment in there. But the thing is, I'm going to add just a little bit more of what I'm calling an outside ombre. I don't know if that's really what the industry is calling it, but I've been seeing this kind of design a lot lately. Now, I want to show you guys something really quick. I don't know if you're even able to see this on camera. Oh, there you go. You can kind of see it. With all of those little pieces of Mylar in there, I've got a couple of little, almost like frayed edges. You can definitely see that little guy right there. So just a couple of little frayed edges of that Mylar kind of poking out. I do want to smooth that out. But here's the trick, you guys. If you're going to buff, okay, I'm going to buff just a little bit, but you want to make sure that you're using a brand new buffer. Don't use something that maybe is worn down at all, because you want to keep a little bit of kind of texture or grit to the surface of this nail. If you buff the nail too smooth, then your top coats are going to have a harder time adhering, and they may tend to chip off. So you can buff just a little bit if you need to, but again, make sure that it's a brand new buffer that's got some grit to it, so it's not going to be too smooth of a finish, okay? All right, so that's all I needed to do. That was just enough to take down, I think that's just kind of a dusty edge that we're seeing there, but it's just enough to take down those little kind of frayed edges. And I'm just dusting off the nail one more time here. Get all of that dust off. Even underneath, make sure you get all that dust cleaned out from underneath. We're gonna grab our swipe again. Pump a little bit of that onto our brush one more time. Scrub that nail, and as I'm cleaning the nail, you guys, this gives you a great chance to hit that subscribe button, join our community, make sure to set your notifications so that you can always join us when we go live again. And then I'm going to let that nail dry, make sure it's nice and dry, and then we're going to put our protein bond on. Sissy, we're not ready for the top coat yet. I know you guys, you're excited, but I just want to add one more little detail here. So you're going to be able to kind of see all of that beautiful opal looking Mylar in there, that beautiful pink opal look once we put that protein bond on. But again, we're going to do, again, what I'm calling an outside ombre. Now here's where I needed you guys to make the choice. Those of you that have been with us here since the beginning of the demo. So you guys were able to see kind of what the nail's going to look like. I want you guys to give me your opinions. Do we want a little bit more of kind of a purple outline? Let me show you what this one's going to look like. I'll give you guys the sample here. Let me grab my brush again. So this is, what did we say this one was? This one is Radiant Orchid. Now I know it looks, like I was saying, kind of brownish in the container, but it is a little bit more of a purpley kind of a pearl look. So we've got that one. Or do you want, let me clean out my brush here, or do you want Gilded Glow, which is our gold. It's actually a really pretty gold, very sparkly. So what do you guys think? With our beautiful pink opal-y nail today, do we want the gold or do we want the orchid? Looks like a lot of people are saying orchid already. And gold, some gold, some gold. Oh, you guys, I think it's about half and half here. I don't know. I'm gonna stick with the gold. Actually, no, I'm gonna stick with the orchid today because I think that was the one that I liked it kind of a little bit better. So I'm gonna go with that one. And hopefully you like it, you guys. But if you try this design, try out the gold and see what you think. And you guys, make sure if you do any of these designs at home or on your clients, make sure to tag Young Nails. We want to see what you guys are creating with all of these new products. So let us see if you change it up a little bit, if you use different colors, absolutely tag us so that we can see what you guys are creating with all of these different products. All right, you guys, I'm gonna grab my liner brush, and you guys, I think this one's on a blowout deal as well. So check this one out on the website on the blowout deals. This is just a really fine, it's kind of a medium length liner brush. So all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take a little bit of that cream clay color. And again, you guys, this is in the gel mystery box. These are not currently available individually. So if you want these cream clays, they are in the gel mystery box. So I'm just gonna kind of paint on a little bit of an outline. I'm not gonna worry if it's perfect. I'm not too concerned with that because we're gonna kind of fade this out. All I'm trying to do is get at least good kind of even amount of product all the way through the side. Let me come out here. Oh, somebody says, bummer, I wanted both. I'm both the orchid and the gold. You guys, I actually did kind of a sample nail where I did the orchid on the free edge here like this, and then I did the gold up around the top. So that's kind of another fun idea you could try. So if you like both of these colors, give that a try. So do the orchid down on the free edge, do the gold all the way up around the top. And that's, again, just another fun little option. Get creative, you guys. I think a lot of times once I start working with the products, start kind of playing around with them, that's where I start to get a little bit more inspiration. I think it was yesterday that we were talking about that you kind of have to start working with the products and let the products talk to you. Let them tell you what kind of things that you should do with them. Let them give you ideas. Because I really think that once you do start working with products, you start to get a little bit more creative. You start to kind of figure out how the products work. And then you kind of start to understand, you know, by knowing how they work, other things that you can do with them. Okay, so again, just kind of gave myself a little outline around the edge. And then, let me set that nail right there really quick. I am gonna find, I've got just a little sponge makeup applicator. I've got my little mixing tile down here too, just in case I need to clean that out. But all I'm gonna do, let me come here. I'm gonna take that sponge applicator and I'm just gonna kind of blend out that edge. Now, if I feel like I may need a little bit more of that cream clay around there, I think I'm gonna add just a little bit more, just to kind of thicken that up a little bit. But again, you guys, it's a super easy design. I know the ombre kind of, you know, different kind of ombre looks are really popular right now. So this is a really easy way, especially for beginners. You know, if you're not quite certain on how to do some of these crazy looking techniques and things, this is a really easy design that really anybody can do. So again, just kind of tapping that sponge right around the edge. If I feel like I've got too much of that paint or that cream clay into my sponge, just kind of press out any extra And then you can go through and use that to just kind of soften and blend out and ombre that edge. Just kind of tapping all the way through, coming down the sides. Guys, if you need to come from the other angle, turn that sponge around, or you can even turn the hand around. Your clients are mobile. They can move. Especially on the little trainer hand, Sally here. She can move. I think I'm going to touch up just a little bit more on this edge here. Maybe just a little more. And then again, we'll come through, tap out that edge just to kind of blend that out a little bit, soften around the edge. So again, it's just kind of ombreed in. I'm going to turn my little tap over there. I had a little bit too much coming into the center, so I'm just using that kind of clean side of my sponge here. And again, just kind of blending. See, I got a little bit right on that skin. Let me come back with my orange wood stick. Make sure I do clean that off before we cure. And I think, kind of liking how this looks. Clean that up just a little bit. All right, you guys, I think I like that. So I'm going to just pop that into the light again for maybe, I don't know, maybe even just 10 or 20 seconds. Just enough to kind of set that into place. And then now you guys can go ahead and start the top coat chant. So those of you that have been with us for a while, you know what the top coat chant is. It's just top coat into the chat. Again, if you guys are new to our channel or if you're just joining us, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can get all of this great free education. And let's go ahead and top coat. So I'm going to use our ultimate finish. Don't fall. Don't. Okay. Just free. I'm not sure what that meant, but all right, you guys. Top coat. Here we go. Let me come in nice and close so you can see the magic happening. Just going to start right up at my cuticle. And with that top coat, you can really see that beautiful opal look with that mylar in there. That really super pretty ombre blend around the edges. Just look at all of that beautiful shimmer in there. That pearl to the pearl to the pink. I absolutely love it. So we're just gonna get our top coat on here. We're gonna get that into the light. Now this is normally gonna cure in the light for a full 60 seconds. But I'll probably just freeze it in there for maybe about 30 seconds or so that you guys can see the finished look. But I kind of want to let you get a little bit more ideas for some other options that you can do with this nail. So it's kind of a good background. So you could come in, those of you that got our Brook AB box, you could come in with other stamps and do kind of a stamping design. This ombre, this outer ombre, is kind of a great background for some of those stamping designs. So you could put designs in the middle. If you are more of a hand-painted artist, you could, let me grab that back out there. You could paint in different designs right in the center of this nail. Another idea would be to use any of, spoiler alert, use any of those jewels that come also in the, which kit was this? I think this one's in the gel mystery box as well. But again, you guys, something like maybe this jewel, that might be really, really pretty. Let me grab my little tweezer here. And again, you guys, our top coat is fairly cured, so it's not going to stick. I'm just kind of giving you some other ideas and other options that you can do kind of with this outside ombre. So if we were to put that jewel on there, I think that'd be really kind of pretty in the center. Or let's see, what else do we have? Ooh, this one might be, oh, I just spilled them all. That's okay. This one might be really pretty on there as well. So I think that, actually, I really like that one. So you guys, use your creativity. Use your creativity and see what you come up with. Start trying all of these beautiful new products, beautiful ombres. And you guys, hopefully you enjoyed our live stream today. Again, make sure if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Head over to the Young Nails website. All of these products are on sale right now. Everything on the website is at least 30% off. So get those good deals. Mystery boxes are much more than 30% off. And you guys, I think those are going to sell out at some point. So don't miss out on those amazing deals. I'm trying to get a good light on this, and I think the best light is from this direction here. So You guys, hopefully you enjoyed our live stream today. Thank you all for joining us. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you guys back next week. Thanks, everybody.